So you have to list out all your favorite games.
Hundreds a lot you thought, but there's no room to waste.
Even if you ponder it so very long, someone on the internet will tell you you're wrong. Top 100 games from the A to Z. Top 100 games. Watch a timeline stream. Top 100 games. You'll enjoy it too.
Just timed it.
Hey everybody, I'm Roy Cannaday.
I'm Wendy Yi. I'm Camilla Cleghorn.
I'm Chris Yi.
And this is our top 100 games of all time. Time to kick it off with the A-Team.
Oh, are we punching?
We're punching now.
Punching.
Clapping,
Oh,
punching,
got it.
I don't know.
Clapping, waving.
We're punch clapping.
And apparently we're
Zumba
friends. I didn't realize
Oh.
we actually were.
I did not sign that paperwork, no.
Oh, you signed some releases, that's for
I
sure.
didn't realize
You
that
think
friends
I
required
did.
paperwork.
So this
Of course
is
there's an
the
application.
kickoff of our top 100 games. So
know
we
you
all
did.
went through and made a list of our favorite games of all time. Did anybody do anything specific with their processes of this?
So yeah, I actually felt like a lot of pressure in making this list,
Oh, yeah?
you know, because I mean, I've been very open. I've only been in gaming really more heavily, the last 3 years or so. So I felt a lot of pressure, top 100 of all time, and it's like,
Definitive list.
oh my gosh, right, exactly. So I felt a lot of pressure as I was going through it, and finally I think I just kind of took a deep breath and said, you know what, no, this is my top 100 right now. And because there's some on there that it's like, yeah, there's going to be some kids games because I have some great kids games that I enjoy playing, even with my kid, without my kid,
Right.
There's some that are on there, and I'll be very honest when we come to those, like, this is not that great of a game, but it's so nostalgic for me, and I love it, so mine are...
I feel you, I'm right there
that's
too.
true.
Yeah,
I think that's
so
so
mine
true.
are more ranked in like my excitement for them right now. So maybe I've only played a couple of times, but it's like how anxious, like how much excitement I have for this game, whether it's newly discovered or 3 years or the oldest one on here I think I played 8 years ago. So there are some older ones as well, but yeah. So I just kind of ranked them based on like how my current excitement and how much I love them and like
Yeah.
my level of if someone's like, hey, do you want to play this? Yes. What's my yes factor?
What is
So-
the
really
yes
cool. Yeah.
factor?
For me, I did something that I've never done before. I went the Delicio method and actually used Pub Meeple. So I've never done this before.
Sellout.
So I basically I rank all my stuff on Board Game Geek normally when I play it. So I basically just took all my games that were rated like 7 and above and like paired them all, and it took a really long time. I just sat there that day just picking in
Yeah.
between all of the games, and then I
With
took
one
out.
finger. That's actually how it works.
I
If you
took
haven't
out-
used
You're
it.
doing the saved and boop, 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 boop,
Well, it's on the
boop,
keyboard.
boop, boop.
This one picks that
More,
side,
more,
this
less,
one picks
less,
that side. You
less.
just go like this.
For safety dance, yeah, fantastic.
And I tried to take out all the duplicates because there's a bunch of games that are like the same game. Some duplicates I didn't take out that Wendy helped me correct. but yeah, it ended up with a list that might be different than previous years, but there's a lot of games that I still really enjoy, and there's always new games that come out each year that might make it on the list.
That's really cool. So I took it as an opportunity to really better understand our ranking system here at the Dice Tower, because I feel like I've really struggled with anything being less than a 5 and greater than an 8.5. Like, I don't know, I've really
gotcha.
struggled with being very middle centric. And so I went through the like 400 some odd games that we've played, and I just started ranking things. And I know that I feel like it changes a little bit every day of where it would be on my 100, but generally I was like, I feel like I now have a grasp of what a 10 is. Like, I finally made a game a 10 for the first time ever, and I made a game a 1 for the first time ever,
think
and I was
I
like,
have
oh,
a
okay,
10.
this is my moment to really feel our system. And so I did change things from there, but that was kind of, I moved everything over basically from that and then adjusted as I so desired.
That's interesting. So mine, I didn't do a Pub Meeple thing. I just kind of went gut feeling. So a few years ago, Wendy and I had a podcast together, and we did a top 100 there. So we did look at our previous year's ones for like the comparison of.
We have some statistics, is what we're
We have
saying.
some statistics, but also it's been 4 years, and so a lot
Wow.
has changed.
Yeah.
But I remember doing it 4 years ago. I made it just kind of by gut feeling. I like this game a lot, so it's up here. I like this one a lot, but not as much, so it's going to be somewhere around here. And then after I did all that, I also did independently a Pub Meeple ranker thing with just, a couple hundred games. and they came out so similar to each other.
Oh, wow.
And I thought, I'm not doing that again.
Jeez.
I feel like that would never happen for me.
So
Yeah, no.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, it could be that one influences the other inevitably, but.
Which one did you do first?
I did my just gut feeling, kind of throw them
Gut
into
feeling.
little
Okay.
into
Yeah, because I
ranges.
wonder, like, because you had already like pre-thought it out some,
I
with
wonder,
people,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
How
Maybe
they
another
influence each other,
year.
So
Maybe another
basically,
year. I'll
I'm
just
saying it's broken.
yes.
Yeah, everything you did is wrong. Incorrect.
Just
You
hanging
are
chads everywhere.
Wrong.
Uh-oh.
I also feel like I already have remorse for my top 100 because I've played like 15 new games since I finished my list, and I'm like, oh, some of these I wish were
Invalid.
on
Right.
there.
Yeah, that's
it's
hard
so
too.
hard to just
Yeah.
like snapshot a time in life and
It
be
is.
like, this is it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really is. And again, 2 days as they go, it's like, oh, I haven't played that one. Oh, no, I'm more excited about that
for
one
sure.
now. I mean, it's is there really that much of a difference between 70 and 60? No.
No, exactly.
On my
There's
list,
not,
absolutely
yeah.
not. Like,
My list is infallible. Also,
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure where everything is because I use Pub Meeple.
I mean, Chris is actually infallible because he did both and
did.
was accurate. So
There you go.
is a
Infallible.
robot.
practically perfect
As
in every
we
way.
see.
And I also want to
Infallible.
mention if my voice sounds a little bit gravelly, I've been doing a lot of interviews and live plays, so if I sound weird, it's just because I'm losing my voice a little bit.
Lifestyle of the famous.
Is this the
Lifestyle
last
of-
voice of The Last Light?
Shh.
Oh.
We don't talk about Bruno. Anyway. Awesome. Well, I guess we should kick this thing off with our 100.
Apparently.
And I'm
All right. Well, I have to. Okay. Starting at the bottom and going upwards. That's how I printed the sheet. I was like, that's not my 100. All right. So
Can
let's
count
kick
backwards.
it off. We're going to be going around the table this way again. My number 100 is a game that has been introduced to me recently called Ohanami. This is a card drafting game, and what I really enjoy about it is that it is you draft 2 cards at a time, and then you lay them out. You can have up to 3 stacks in front of you where you're trying to make the numbers go increasing in one direction and decreasing in the other. It has some notes of like The Mind, where you're trying to make numbers go in directions and you
Or
can't.
Racco.
Or Racco. Oh yeah, that's true.
Hey, flashback.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So I like this one because it's just very simple. It comes that teeny little box, and yet in that box is a good amount of fun, card drafting. Take 2 cards, pass the others along, but in a weird thinky way. And then the cards based on color will score either once every round, only starting at the second round,
Interesting.
or only at the end of the game. And so I like that dynamic of do I get a lot of the stuff that's going to score every time? Do I get stuff heavy for end game only? I like it. It's got a good amount of card play for something so simple. So that's number 100, Ohanami.
I played that with Tom's wife. And Chris taught us the rules and he left us, and she was like, this is how Chris won, which has ended up being my strategy, and so I super won. So I think you like it.
I'm also amazing at this game. What can I say?
Oh, jeez. All right. All right. Well, my 100 is kind of a classic in my family. We play it pretty regularly.
Is it Racco?
It's not Racco.
Oh, that'd been cool.
That would be
That would've
hilarious,
been-
right?
I played that
No.
a lot as a kid, though.
Oh, I played that so much as a kid. Yeah, my top 100 is King of Tokyo. I have the Dark Edition because I think it looks really, really cool. And
It has the weird texture
and
on the box I don't like.
The weirdest feels so good. It's like almost like rubbery. And anyway, King of Tokyo is a kind of Yahtzee style battle game, right? Where you take your 3 rolls, and at the end you use those rolls to attack the other players, and pretty much you're just trying to be last man standing, king of the hill kind of Yahtzee
Right.
style. It's so much fun. It can play at a higher player count. I think it plays well. I don't love it at 2 players, but with my son we'll do it because he loves the game. But I think it does well. 3, 4. It also does well 5, and it's just fun. It's just silly fun. And who doesn't want to be a big bad monster and punch things? I want to do that, and this game lets me do that. So it's fantastic.
I like
Awesome.
it. Yeah.
Punch just like that.
Yes,
like that.
just like our intro.
That's
Yeah.
exactly how you should punch.
See, I know stuff about things.
Godzilla doing his calisthenics. All right.
Right,
Punch
yeah.
and stretch. And
All right, my top 100, my number 100 of my top 100 is Suburbia. This is a tiling city building game where you have hexes and you're trying to put the hexes next to other hexes to score lots of bonus points, and it's a little puzzle. This is a game that we played kind of early on in our gaming career, and we had it on an app, and so I played it all the time. And I don't know, it's one of the first where I saw that idea of if you play something next to something else, it gets a bonus, and you put something else there and you get another bonus and you get more stuff. So I just think it's a lot of fun.
Nice.
Really cool. Yep. I haven't played that one.
Suburbia.
Yeah, good city building game.
So my number 100 is actually a social deduction game, but this is an extremely quick social deduction game called Crossfire from Emerson Matsuji. This is one where you're basically trying to figure out who the VIP is and who's on what team, and you basically have information in this game because you look at the cards kind of beside you, and then you get to kind of like shuffle them up, so you kind of know that someone's on your side. And there's all sorts of different roles you can play in this game. You're trying to, if you're the assassin, you're trying to figure out who the VIP is and point at them. And then also if you're like the, like different people, like bodyguards, you can try to protect the VIP and stuff like that. But it's extremely, extremely quick. And that's one of the things I really enjoy about it, is that you can play it over and over and over again really quickly. And it just gives you that information right off the bat. A lot of social deduction games are just like, you don't know what's going on for like the first half of it. And then you have to figure it out. With this one, you have some information. You're like, I saw the VIP over here on my side, but I'm not going to say anything because I'm on the VIP side, so I want them to think the VIP's on the opposite side, that sort of thing. Or maybe you're an assassin, you're like, I know he's over here. I'm going to tell the other assassins, I know he's on this side somewhere, but then somebody might shoot me before I can get to shoot. So it's like this whole dynamic of how do you play this game properly, and it plays in like 3 minutes. So it's
awesome.
extremely quick, extremely fast-paced. And I think this is a one that a lot of people have overlooked and not really heard of or played, but it's extremely inexpensive. Crossfire from Flat Hat Games and Emerson. My number 100.
All right, 99. This is the first couple here are very new to the list compared to 4 years ago. I'll just mention when there's one that was on there previously. This is another new one. This is also a really new game that we just reviewed. Number 99 is called Switch and Signal. This is a cooperative train game.
You liked it that much. Okay.
I like it a lot.
Wow.
It's good.
Yeah, I knew you
it-
liked it, but not that much.
It's one of those,
Not 99.
Not 99, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's not 98 though. Let's get that clear.
Okay, right. Okay.
99
very
trains
clear.
on the wall. 99 trains on the wall.
So when you read that it's all aboard the cooperative train game, I thought, okay, well, let's see how it is. But it's really fun. It is a logistics puzzle. You are trying to. There's trains of 3 different colors that move at different speeds, and you're trying to deliver cubes from one city to a target city. Hooray, right? Very fun. But you're controlling all of those, all of the black and the green discs there are basically on and off switches and different route. This train coming this way is going to have to turn right, or you spend actions to switch which way they're going to be going, and the trains will just kind of move automatically. And so you have to be prepared for when the trains start going. The trains move at 3 different speeds, and so you're like, okay, that train's going to start moving really fast. Let's pump resources into making sure that one doesn't crash into stuff, because I don't know if you know this or not, but when trains crash into things, that's bad. You ever seen Super 8?
Seems bad.
Yeah.
Seems bad.
Have you ever actually seen Super 8 though?
Yeah, that's like the
movie?
opening
Yeah,
scene.
the movie.
Oh, yeah, no.
It's really good. It has an amazing train crash derailing sequence.
Really?
You should watch it just for that.
I think I will. It's in the beginning.
It's the
so I
beginning.
don't
It's
have to
pretty
watch
early.
the
The
movie.
first,
Like,
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So anyway, if you don't want to create the train crash in Super 8, play Switch and Signal, my number 9, a fantastic co-op game.
There you go.
All right, very cool. All right, my number 99 is a roll and write. First entry in here for this, and it is Welcome to Dino World. I love this roll and write. Have y'all played this one?
No.
I haven't. Otherwise,
I
it
feel
might have
like-
made my fun dinosaur.
Yeah,
theme list.
it's just fun. So again, or not again, I guess this one isn't Yahtzee, but you have dice and you roll them, and you get to use. So there's 3 dice, and you get to use those 3 dice to make a selection on how you're going to fill out your dinosaur park, right? You're trying to fill up your dinosaur park as efficiently and with the most exciting way possible by having different dinosaurs. And you can see at the screen here at the top, you have little goals that you're trying to do, so you kind of have that direction that you're trying to go as well, but ultimately trying to have either a variety of dinosaurs or same kind of dinosaurs. Some dinosaurs have to have power stations in them, which if you have power stations at the end, give you points, but the more you use, the less points you get. So you're also trying to place your dinosaurs efficiently so that you maximize that power and stuff like that. And so it hits a real sweet spot for me where there's enough going on with the different goals, but you can learn it and you don't have to learn it in the beginning in the teach, and you're not really having to ask questions as you go. And I think for a roll and write, that's really important to me, that it's just something you can sit down and play. I really enjoy the solo mode of this one as well. I've soloed this quite a bit. Yeah, so it's fun. It's just a fun, quick, little bit more going on than a typical roll and write, but also can learn the rules quickly, and it's dinosaurs, and
I mean, look at that cover. It looks so,
dinosaur theme park, right?
it looks so happy.
So happy.
Those dinos are going to have a good dinner.
I mean, so happy.
Super cute.
I love it. So cute.
I have not
Adorable.
felt compelled to make fun of any of your picks, so you're doing great.
Wow.
2 out
so
of
far.
2.
2.
Awesome.
Also bring it.
Bring it.
All right, my number 99 is Genotype. This is a fun sciencey game all about making plants and breeding them and doing cool Punnett square stuff and alleles and all those fancy sciencey words. I enjoy the dice drafting on this, and I really like just the very fun sciencey thing that's going on here. You can change stuff. You basically, what you're doing is you're putting out your shovels every round to say, I want to draft these dice, and then you can change the alleles of what kind of dice come out, and you roll them. You see what stuff you have, and you draft them, and you fill out little plant cards. I don't know. It's fun. It's got a little bit of engine building, a little bit of other Euro-y stuff going on there, and I just really like the theme overall. So that's Genotype.
And it's so brown. My favorite
So
color.
brown.
It's a pretty
But there's
brown, okay?
plans.
It's good
It's
brown.
not beige brown. It's
It also
a
makes me
rich
feel
brown.
smart, but like in a good way.
In a good way. as
How many
opposed to
times
a
have you
bad
felt
way.
smart in a bad way?
Like all through elementary school.
You felt too smart.
I felt too
Too
smart.
smart?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I'm here with these mortal children.
Here comes Wendy with her big brain.
I have an unusually small-sized head. Thank you very much.
Well, you know, you
I can
utilize
wear
the space
children's
well.
hats.
She bought a cool one that has like an Xbox controller on it. I was like, you bought that from the children's department.
Super did. I love it. It's great.
That's awesome. My 99 is a 2-player game that is drafting 2 players. This is 7 Wonders Duel. So this is like a re-implementation of 7 Wonders for 2 players, but the draft is this cool pyramid draft where some of the cards are face up and some of them are face down, and there's this whole juxtaposition of like, do I want to take this card, but I'll uncover another card, which could give you more war, and that could push you further on the tug of war thing there, and like you could end up winning the game that way. What cards do you want to give your opponent? What cards do you want to take for yourself? It's a very interesting game trying to figure out how to maximize your drafting, but then also like not allow your opponent to be able to get an upper hand on those things. This is a highly regarded 2-player game, and it's a lot of fun to play. So if you haven't played 7 Wonders Duel, it gives you that 7 Wonders feel with 2 players, and I really enjoy it.
I enjoy it.
What's interesting is the first time that we played it, it didn't really do anything for me.
Really?
I thought I was like, this is fine. And we came back to it like 2 years later, and I was like, oh, I'm really digging this. So
I just love the draft. I mean, I've played Magic drafts like that before where you have some cards face down and stuff like that, but I really just enjoy the way that
so
that
cool.
works. Like, do I uncover it now or do I uncover it later? Or like, it's like, I really want that card, but whatever I flip over could be really good for them. It just
Right.
adds this whole element into the game.
You know, we even played regular 7 Wonders that way by just flipping over cards that way, and it's cool.
Yeah, it's just fun.
Yeah, no, that's neat.
It's a really cool way to draft it. So 7 Wonders Duel, my 99.
Yeah.
'98. This is a game that is, it's difficult to find, and we're very, very fortunate that we have a copy in the Dice Tower library, and so it is a game that has a Marvel Comics theme to it, but it's not a Marvel superhero game. You're collecting comics. Number 98 is Comic Hunters. This is by a Brazilian company only, so it's hard to find. You have to import it if you want it in the States or basically outside of Brazil because of licensing reasons, but it's a really neat card drafting game. Basically, the game is multiple different types of card drafting, and you do 3 of them per round, and then there's 4 that you kind of mix together. So the next round you'll mix 3 others, and it does this thing really well where you're spending cards to pay for other cards that you want to keep, which I feel like is oddly thematic when you're collecting things like this, and you're like, I can't really keep all of these, so I'm going to sell off a couple of things to pay for the other things, which
That's how we
we've
do board games,
which
right?
we've totally
I
done in
really
board
want
games.
this Kickstarter. Let me sell a couple of things real quick. All in.
Exactly, and so I thought, that is a fun way to make that little mechanism a very thematic touch. So I like this game. It's super charming. It is very fun. If you get a chance to come to one of the Dice Tower retreats or conventions or the cruise or anything like that, we do have the copy in the library. It's fun. I do recommend
Chris
checking
is
it out.
offering to teach you.
I really want to play this
yeah.
game. Mike told me I wasn't
you
allowed
haven't.
to. He said I've played too many Marvel games, but I really want to play
This
this
is true.
one.
You've reached your quota.
I
for
think
it.
Yeah.
you'll enjoy
Would
Would you
this.
say
I
it's
enjoy this
marvelous?
one.
Oh, it's May. it's a new month. I will allow you to play it now.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I reached my quota for the last month, so now I can
So now
put
you
on
have
another
to
month.
start. Yeah, nice.
Okay.
There you go. That's
Awesome.
98 Comic Hunters.
Very good. I expect to receive some heat for my 98. Because
it's getting hot in here.
I know, I do. I'm a little bit nervous. No, my 98 is Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion. Because it's 98.
'Cause it's so low?
Right, because it's so
Because
low.
we're playing the campaign
right.
with
I mean,
you?
there might be people at this table that I'm playing the campaign with.
Would you say they're dragging the score
that-
I
down?
would
Yeah.
say I might be saying I'm like sandwiched between them.
It's
so I'm
been a
only gonna make
minute,
eye
so-
contact with Roy right now. No. So Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion is like the little sister, little brother to Gloomhaven, right? And I haven't played Gloomhaven, and I really don't care to after playing Jaws of the Lion, because I think this is so well done, like with the maps, with the setup. I mean, you know, when we get together to play, we are sitting down at the table with the box to starting play within, I mean, less than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, and I really, really like that system. I think it has a neat combat system, a lot of really good cooperation. I love the mechanism with the up, top, and bottom cards. So you choose 2 cards each round, you know, and you can choose the top. You use the top of one and the bottom of the other, you know, and so you have this hand of cards that just has so many possibilities, and I really, really like that mechanisms. And then, you know, you're talking, but it is kind of a little bit of limited communication. I'm going to kind of go over here and do this. I can almost take him out. Can you help? Can you do that? You know,
I'm going to go
I'm
fast.
fast. Than before. Yeah, so I really like that, you know, that it can be frustrating at times that you just want to be like, I'm in the middle, but a little faster.
Like 25% faster.
Like 25, right, yeah, you know, and so it can make for some fun moments, but at the same time, I really think it has some thinky, meaningful decisions as well, as you're looking at your hands of cards and trying to manage them and when to pick them back up and that, and I really appreciate that. So my number 98 is Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion.
It's a good game.
Nice.
That's a solid good game. All right, my number 98 is another one that's a little bit hard to find. That's Batman Love Letter. This is basically Love Letter. So you have like 16 cards, and what you're trying to do is you play a card, so you draw a card, then you play a card, and each card has a special action. You usually are trying to figure out what other people have and knock them out of the round if you can guess their card. Or you want to be the last one standing with the highest card. It's very simple. It's extremely streamlined. The difference between regular Love Letter and the Batman Love Letter is that you can get a point if you play Batman and guess someone else's card, whereas in regular Love Letter,
When you play Batman, they say, that's the wrong card. That's not in this game.
yes, accurate. I see what you mean there. But yeah, so just the difference is that you can get points a little bit quicker, so it goes a little faster. But I love Love Letter. There you go.
Boom.
That's my number 98.
This one actually surprised me. Oh, I'm sorry. This one surprised me, like how much I liked it on my second round. On my second turn. On my second
Once you
game.
figured out
On the
what's going
first
on.
one, I was like, I have no idea what's happening right now.
Really?
I couldn't get like how the figuring out what someone else is doing or how do you infer who they are, that kind of stuff. And yeah, it took me till the second gameplay, and I was like, it's like that light bulb moment. You know, there's a top 10 light bulb moments in games.
Light bulb.
This would be top 3. I was like, oh, I get it. Okay, let's do it again. You know.
It's like Love
That's a
Letter,
good
but with
list.
more justice.
Right, but I've never. Oh, gosh.
And vengeance, yes.
I do have to say, I don't necessarily love all the other Love Letters that add a bunch of other stuff. I'm a fan of pretty basic.
Oh, and I will say I've never played any other Love Letter, so this was the only one I played.
Gotcha.
You know, so. Yeah, and I cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, that's...
He was just gonna make another
Well,
one.
I was going to make another dumb joke or something. So
Oh.
this is we're better off
welcome.
served that you
You're
interrupted
welcome.
me this time.
All right, my 98 is a deduction game, a logic game, but is also a space game. This is Search for Planet X. So this is a game where you're trying to figure out where Planet X is, and you're using an app and trying to figure out and deduce exactly where that Planet X is by being like, oh, it's beside asteroids, or oh, it's across from this thing, or it's not beside this thing. And there's a lot of really cool, interesting choices and things that you're trying to deduce as the game goes along. And you can try to like look at the other players and be like, oh, they're going over there, and trying to ask that sort of stuff. You can kind of infer off of what's going on around the board where the Planet X is. And it's just a lot of fun, like trying to race to figure out who is the person that's going to figure out where that floating planet is way out there in the solar system. And it's just a blast to play. It's just deduction. Just
should try
straight up
this
deduction.
one.
That's awesome.
Yeah, if you haven't tried it, you should definitely try it out, especially if you're a fan of like trying to make logic of the stuff that's out on the board and be like, with this I can infer it's here, that sort of thing.
Space mystery.
So it's a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed playing and have enjoyed playing Search for Planet X, my 98.
All right, so 97 is the first game that was previously on my top 100 list that we did 4 years ago. If you missed the beginning, we did this on our podcast, so it's been quite a bit. My number 97 is a game called Adrenaline. This was 48 at one point. I really like this game. I just haven't played it nearly as much in the last few years, but every time I think about it, every time that I've played it, it's so fun. You run around. It's like an arena shooter game. This is one of the ones that I would recommend, actually.
I'm like so excited. Look how happy he is on the cover.
He's very.
I love him.
Now,
You haven't played this?
No.
You should play this.
Yeah, this is,
Okay,
this
I
would
should
be
play
your
this.
game.
This is one of those I think that you'd enjoy because it has good mechanical underpinnings as well.
Okay.
Right? You run around and you collect ammo cubes off of the map. You have a very limited
You lost
pool.
me in ammo cubes.
Well, it's ammo. So you have to run around and grab ammo. You have a very limited supply of ammo. I'm going to stop saying the word cubes. And you got to keep your guns loaded and reloaded. But if you don't load them at the end of your turn, then you can't fire at your next turn, right? So so you're sitting there like, okay, I have to make sure that if I blast this huge rail gun that will shoot through walls and hit everyone in this line, do I have enough stuff to reload it for next turn, or
am I
I'm
gonna
going to
die?
allocate this ammo towards my sidearm, right? And so it's so fun.
There's a lot of opportunity to like maximize your points because it's basically like area control of your opponent's life bar. Because basically you get more points if you've done more damage to people, so you don't always want to attack the same person. You kind of want to like spread out the love.
Yeah.
But then if you're able to
Spread
do
out the
Batman
I
love.
it.
right, if you're able to do like
Literal
killing
murder
shots,
that you're putting
if
down.
you're able to do killing shots and things like that, you can get points. But also if you're the person that's done the most damage to someone, so it's kind of like figuring out exactly who you want to attack, which makes the game very interesting.
Oh, interesting.
If you get killed, you respawn, but you're worth fewer points the next time you get killed.
Oh, okay.
So it doesn't. You don't dogpile the same person the whole time. Like it's got so many good mechanical underpinnings, but it's also this ridiculous and fun theme. So number 97, Adrenaline.
It's weird. It's like a first-person shooter with like Euro-style mechanics.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like
I'm
this
digging
game.
this. I'm digging it. All right, very cool.
Means something.
My number 97 is a nostalgic pick. And it's not a nostalgic pick because the game is old, it's a nostalgic pick because of the theme. It is Trogdor. I love it so much! I love it!
That's awesome.
My voice is messed up. I can't even do Trogdor, but I'm not doing a good strong bad.
Yes, and yes, I'm dating myself here with this. So, but Trogdor, I love it. The game itself, I don't know that it necessarily brings anything mechanically new or exciting, anything like that. But it's so thematic. You know, if you did watch the
Strong bad emails, the
I
Homestar Runner.
I know they're like videos,
Webtoons or
webtoons.
whatever.
Yeah, I'm trying to
Yeah.
think what they're called. The webtoons. Yeah. If you did watch it, there's just so many thematics in here, and I just absolutely love it. It's actually this game was gifted to me originally because I really do love Trogdor. My dog's name is Trogdor, and so it was gifted to me, and because of this, I played it with my son, and then he, of course, went down this whole like rabbit hole of all the emails and all
that's awesome.
all that
That's
stuff. And so
great.
it's so much fun to relive. And anyway, so I love this game. It always makes me laugh and just brings back so many memories and songs, and you can't not quote the game consistently through it. Not the game, quote the webtoons.
webtoons.
Burninating the countryside.
Burninating the peasants.
I had in college an econ professor who talked a lot, strangely like Strong Bad. Okay, so today we're going to talk about the PPF, the production possibility frontier. I was
would
like,
have learned
say
nothing.
Burninate! Say Burninate!
Oh, that would have been fantastically distracting. I love it. I love
Yeah.
it.
All right, my number 7 is a space game, but I don't know if I would like this one. It is On Mars. Are you up for playing this, Roy?
I've wanted to play this, even though I know it's a Vital Lacerda and like a heavy game. I've wanted to play some of his games just to try them out. You know.
I think it's an absolutely great game. So it is a heavy Euro-thinky game, and what you're doing is you're colonizing Mars, but you have to spend time on the left side of board, which is up in your space station where you have, oxygen and that kind of stuff, where you're living, but then you take trips down to Mars to build it up. And you have these cool little robots. You're moving around the map, and you can't build unless your little AI robots are there. It's pretty cool. And so it's basically just this worker placement game. You're hopping across from Mars to the space station, and so it's about being very efficient with your actions. There's some fun engine building, and there's a little bit of interaction here and there. And so it's a really cool space game. It's one of my favorite Lacerdas, and yeah, it's awesome. So that is On Mars, my number 97.
So one of your favorite Lacerdas is 97.
Let's just see they're sprinkled throughout my 100.
Spoilers.
This is one of my favorites. One of my 17 favorites.
You only have so many.
So my 97 is QE. This is basically like an auction game where you can bid as high as you want.
It's ridiculous.
But the catch is, if you have bid the highest at the end of the game, you lose. So you can keep pushing higher and higher and higher with these numbers, and so it means the numbers at the beginning of the game almost become meaningless because they're so small compared to the numbers at the end of the game. But you have to like get these different like corporations and companies and things like that to be able to gain points during the game. So you have to have some of those to win. But if you go too far, the highest bidder is going to lose the whole game.
We played this once where we decided that we were going to start with like $1 billion as our base level, and we started having to look up like what comes after like 10 gajillion. Like I don't know what the nomenclature is for this.
But yeah, it's just such an interesting game that you think wouldn't work with the way that's set up, but it's still fun. It's like if somebody goes too high, people could just be like, let them lose. But the problem is they'll just keep gaining properties, and then somebody's crazy enough to be like, I'm gonna pass them. It's like, now you're gonna lose. But yeah, it's a lot of fun and a crazy game, and that is QE, my 97.
All right, 96 for me was at one point 28. I really like this game. It's called Cacao. This is a tile-laying game by Phil Walker Harding. This is a designer that I enjoy. Spoilers! This is not the only Phil Walker Harding game on my list.
Would you say they're heavily sprinkled?
Or lightly sprinkled.
I mean,
Or
just gobs of butter all over this list.
I do enjoy butter.
Yeah. No, he's a designer I enjoy a lot because of his design philosophy being streamlined, easy to grasp, very fun and rewarding. So this is a tile-laying game where the tiles that you put out have little meeples on the side of it, and they're basically workers. So you are activating the tiles that you are putting them next to. And so you're harvesting cocoa beans, and then you're refining them and selling them off, and then you're building up, on the little track there on your board. You have a lot of different you're incentivized to do a lot of different things. And so how do you do it with this little checkerboard of tile-laying grid that you have in front of you? I like it. It is somehow familiar and unlike any other game at the same time. So yeah, like I said, this is one
That's a sweet spot. That familiar, but also unique.
Innovative. Yeah.
That's a sweet spot.
So at one point, this was 28. Like I said, I like this one a lot, and I still do. So there you go, Cacao.
Very nice. All right, my number 6. I forgot. Oh yeah, my number 6 is maybe it's a flip. It's based off a roll and write. It's we'll just say get on board is what it is. But it's
just get on board.
I'm struggling like how to explain it. Like it comes from a roll and write, but in this one you flip over a card, but then you're not really writing anything. You're putting out your tracks and things in order to pick people up. So in this you are building a bus route through either New York or London, and as you have these little sticks and you're literally building, not literally, okay, you are not literally building, but you have a map and you are putting sticks out in order to build a bus route to efficiently try to pick up passengers and then drop them off at certain stations in order to get the most points and get people where they want to, and you have a certain end goal. And I really just enjoy this. I think again it's back to what I said before with the Dino Welcome to Dino World. You can learn it really quickly, but then there are interesting decisions, and I think we'll see that kind of a lot through my top 100 here. But yeah, I really enjoy this one. It is a newer one to me. I think we actually live streamed. It was the first time I played it, and I've played it a couple times since then. And it's just one that I think about, since then a couple times. I'm like, I'd really like that. It's a very relaxing game. So number 96.
I played the original version of Let's Make a Bus Route.
Okay, right, yes.
And that's dry race. You are
right.
drawing.
It is a roll and write.
And you have your own player board.
Whatever. It's
and this one still is, I would say, because you have your player board that you're checking stuff off. So.
Right, you do, but because there's that other one, it's like, it's a gray area.
We'll
agree to disagree. But I'm
About
right.
what?
I just like to
You just want the
experience
beef on between us.
I do.
This is
I do.
ridiculous.
Why are you so nice
Beef
today?
mode activated. I'm going to argue with your next pick now.
All right. Well, my number 96. So when we were
no, you won't.
picking box covers up here, we all just decided to pick box covers that were not on our top 100 and pick I just called you my daughter's name.
You did. That was uncomfortable for both of us.
Camilla picked my number 6 pick, and that is
it
Rococo.
Rococo?
Yeah. I was really surprised when you pulled that out. I thought it was Chris because I was talking to Chris
really?
about it this morning. So, but Rococo, you're making these super fancy dresses for this ball. And you want to be the designer that has the most dresses there because that's awesome and that's how you get to be known. And so the fancier dresses you make, the more points you get. The more dresses you have out, the more points you get. So it's kind of this majorities thing. But the card play is what is really interesting to me. It wasn't until this morning that I actually realized it's basically a deck builder that doesn't look like a deck builder. So you have a deck of cards, and they're the people that you've hired to help you out. So you've got your fancy designers, and you have your guy that'll go run and get fabric for you, and you've got other people that can sew stuff together. And you're playing these cards and choosing actions and collecting stuff, all so that you can play this majorities game essentially at the ball. But I love the theme. This new version actually has like fancier tokens and things that you can play with, and I swear the lace looks like a sponge, like a sea sponge,
Like a loofah.
like a loofah kind of thing.
really?
Like
Got one hanging in the
yeah.
shower just for good measure.
But overall, I like this version better. I just think that it's very pretty, and I like the white aesthetic. It's very, I don't know, very bright
It's
and
clean.
happy.
It's like
yeah.
pretty and clean, but also bright. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
I
So-
pulled the box cover because it's one that I want to play and I think I'll like, but I haven't played. So I was like, oh, perfect.
Done.
Yeah.
Easy peasy.
That's cool.
Yep, so Rococo is my number 96.
My number 96 is actually a game where you point guns at each other, and that is cash
Literally?
and guns. So this is a game where you're all on a heist, but after the heist, you have to figure out how to split up the money. And it's very dramatic.
An epic heist.
And you have a stack of bullets or whatever, and you have your gun, and basically each round, each player is going to point their gun at players. They have to choose whether or not you actually loaded the gun or not.
Oh my gosh, that's so.
And if it's loaded, you'll be knocked out of actually splitting the pile of loot because you get knocked down. But you're only able to like shoot somebody so many times during the game.
I disagree. Oh, during the game.
So, right, yes. So it's a very interesting game of like trying to figure out who you think, because the points and the money in the game is kind of hidden information. So you're trying to figure out who's in the lead and try to like be like, okay, I think Chris is like taking way too much money, or he's taking a whole bunch of the paintings, and the paintings are going to multiply his points like crazy. I'm going to kick Chris out of this one. But sometimes you could just be clicking, and if you shoot each other, then then you're kind of knocked out. So it's a very interesting game, and it's the only game that you're pointing foam guns at each other that I've seen. So it's a blast to play, and it just makes
He
for
finally
fun,
said
interesting
foam
memories.
guns. He would the whole thing, then drop foam.
We had a friend that actually hated the feel of foam, and so we would just give her a Nerf gun.
Oh yes.
That was a really fun way to play.
Yeah.
Oh.
This reminds me of one of
fantastic.
my favorite Simpsons quotes, which is they're trying to the mob is trying to assassinate Homer.
Yeah.
They keep missing him, and they're like, "I told you we should have bought more than 3 bullets."
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, but could you play with Nerf guns and like you
totally.
all secretly load it or don't load it?
You
and then the
absolutely
grand
could.
reveal. Does it? Oh my
Or
gosh.
you play Russian roulette, and you're just like,
Yes.
there's 3 in here. What's gonna happen?
Yes.
There you
oh
go.
my gosh. Or
There you go.
paintballs.
But yeah, it's a blast to
Paintball guns.
play. My number 96,
This work.
Cash and Guns.
My number 95 is my first of the roll and write style of games. I just call them all roll and writes, even though this
Right.
one is what one might call a crokinole and write. That's called Sonora.
I like to call it
Have you played this one?
I have, yeah. I played it with you. Do you remember?
I don't, clearly.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
it was mediocre.
Okay. You didn't really.
The play specifically. The game was great.
Oh, the game is
But yeah,
great.
but yeah.
There you go. I thought that this is one that you might enjoy because it's
did, yeah.
because the roll and write aspect of it is super
I remember
fun.
playing it with
It's
you.
4
Thanks,
different
Wendy.
mini
Yeah.
games.
You were there too. So.
Look at it.
Yeah.
We got
You're
You're not
hundreds.
actually saying that, but
I got hundreds of games up here in my noggin. I got to save room for the more important stuff. Beef! But the way that you choose what numbers and what type of things you're doing in each of the 4 little quadrants of your board is based on flicking these discs out onto the crokinole type thing in the middle. It's super fun. It's one that you think like, is this just a stupid gimmick? But no, it's great.
But also yes. But
But
it's
also-
great.
But I'm
can be,
terrible
yeah.
at crokinole, and I can still win this game, which I appreciate.
You often crush me at this game, yeah. Because she just does the roll and write part.
I'm just good at
of it,
writing.
The writing part of it
That's,
really well.
That's the key to
Yeah.
it. that
So-
big brain of mine.
It really is maximizing that flicking part. Like the dexterity part is really cool and interesting, but it really is about maximizing whatever the result comes out. You know what I mean? 'Cause there's so many different ways that you can go with your own little
Yeah.
leaderboard that I really like that.
Absolutely. Yeah. If we weren't fighting right now, then I would agree with you. So
Yeah.
great
Oh,
point.
that's right. Oh yeah.
All right, so that's my number 5, Sonora. 95, Sonora.
Right. My 95 is Chronicles of Crime.
Crokinole of Crime?
Crokinole
You
of Crime. Did I
flick-
say that? Did I really
No,
say it? I was like, I might have said that. I don't know. Chronicles of Crime. In this game, it is a cooperative deduction game where you are going through a story and trying to like trace down leads to solve some sort of crime, whether it's murder or whatever. And so I just love it that you're going and discovering different locations, and at those different locations, you come across different people who might lead you to give clues about other locations or other people, but then you don't know where they are and you have to find them. So it's just kind of just a deduction game where you're playing the detective and going through and trying to solve this. And it is app-based. I think one of the things I really love about this is Lucky Duck did a really good job with the app in this. I've never had a problem with it. You know, it scans so easily, so quickly, and it's just a lot of fun. And I think it's very, very well done. It's so smooth. I've introduced a lot of people to this game, and just the system is smooth and interesting.
I do feel like this was kind of a game changer for me for detective games, just because it did have that app integration. So I feel like it solved a lot of that reading through books and looking up numbers
Right.
problem that a lot
Yeah.
of these games have. Yeah.
Right.
With a
it
stack
really
of
did.
cards. You're
Yeah.
like, only read card 97.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I really love that there's not one way through these scenarios, right? I mean, obviously, there's an answer that you want to get at the end, but because it has the app, depending on who you've talked to, will change the answer that you've got, you know, or if you have a location, that kind of stuff. And I think they just do a really good job with that, of it kind of learning on itself, you know, the game, that kind of
like
stuff.
runs itself, yeah.
Right, you know,
Yeah.
it just changes, like, oh, you took too long there, so that person's no longer available, or they're not going to be there till 6 o'clock tonight, so where are you going to go waste your time? Not waste your time, but gather other clues, you know, so I just really think that is possible because of the app specifically.
Yeah. That's awesome. All right, my number 95 is one that was on my list from a few years ago. And actually, this is the second one on my list. Suburbia was, but I didn't mention that. But this is Splendor, and Splendor used to be 24, and now it is number 95. I still really enjoy this game. It is just a good, solid, basic engine builder. I'm not great at it. In fact, I've played this with people that are really good at it, and I just get destroyed. But I just find it to be fun. That like, oh, I collected a black gem, and now I have a future black gem for all future cards that I buy that have black gems. That's great. Now I have another one. Now I have 2. I don't know. I like the way that it builds. I like the way that it grows. I really enjoyed the expansion, the Cities of Splendor, and how you can get some player powers. There's a cool different market that you can go to, and some different endgame stuff. I think that expanded it more. I mean, I know that Chris didn't really love it until, you didn't really like it until the expansion.
I like the expansion a lot.
You like the expansion.
Wow.
But yeah, it's fun. I pretend the Strongholds doesn't exist in that expansion because I just find it mean and kind of in the way. But yeah, overall, I just really enjoy Splendor, basic Splendor, and Splendor Cities.
But have you
Cities
played
as Splendor.
Marvel Splendor?
I have not.
Have you played both?
I haven't played
Have you
both.
played Marvel Splendor?
I haven't played regular Splendor.
See, I've
But he's
played
played
Marvel,
Only played
but I haven't
Marvel.
played regular.
What's the
Yeah, so
difference?
think
I realize I don't know
Yeah,
the
that's what I was going to
differences.
ask.
There's
where I was
tiny little
going.
differences. Just the ones that you can score, they're a little bit different on those things. And there's like
Okay.
Avengers symbols on some of the cards that you're trying to grab
Okay.
to gain points off of that.
Well, there you go. That's my number 95, Splendor.
One of the few games I've almost rage quit. Despised that game.
You played it with me.
I know. You
That's
didn't know
weird.
me well enough to see like the internal.
You were just
It's not-
channeling the Hulk.
It's
I
not my
think, is what's
fault.
going on.
You sucked at the game. I mean, I don't know.
Boom!
You taught the game,
Whoa.
and I didn't understand the rules till like the end.
You get to 10
You didn't
points.
explain.
Or you
no,
get
no,
to.
not the rule. Okay, it's cool. It's cool. It's cool. I didn't
extremely
rage quit.
simple
I
game,
almost.
Camilla.
I understand,
Extremely
but you
simple.
didn't
So
explain.
much less.
I think the beef is kind of
It's
is
because-
like lowering here
Yeah,
and
yeah.
rising over
Yeah.
there.
No, just for this game. The beef is Splendor.
Get good. So like Camilla said, I'm also a parent, so I have games on my list that might not be games that you would normally think of, but this is a kids game that I really, really enjoy, and I've had a blast playing it with my kids, and this is Core Quest. So Core Quest is a ton of fun. There's a lot of things I like about it. It's basically a dungeon crawl where you are going through the dungeon through different stories. And one of the things I love about this is the fact that there is narration on the website. You can go through and the designer and will actually read out a bunch of the stuff for the game. Dan Hughes, who's part of the Dice Tower, is the designer for this as well, and his daughter Cora. And they made this game, and it's just a fun to play. It's just really easy to get into, really easy to play, and the stories and the narration, stuff like that, just elevates this to where it makes it to my top 100. My kids have had a blast playing it. They have a ton of fun going through little stories, and we've had a lot of fun with creating little characters for it as well. And I just really enjoy the way the whole game comes together. I mean, it's just a cute little dungeon crawl, but it's a lot of fun to play, and the art is charming, you know. That's all drawn by kids and things like that. I've had a blast with Core Quest, so yeah.
That's awesome. Hey, thanks Brian for the super chat.
Yes.
Awesome. And that's why
That's why.
That's what Core Quest is.
And that's why Core Quest is so great.
Oh,
Everybody's whining about my voice is gonna die off. I'm just gonna be squeaking by the end.
that'll be entertaining.
Squeaker McSqueakin'.
It's all mice games from here on out. So
Just start writing out what you want to say and I'll read it for you.
There we go. Right.
All right, number 94. So one of the things I noticed is that in this chunk of my 10, there's not a lot of the bland, heavy Euro games, which is a lot of the stuff that I do enjoy. That will come, I promise you. But my number 94 is definitely not that. It's called Blitzkrieg! World War II in 20 minutes!
Look at that. He's launching that grenade.
He is ready. He's going to hold on to that grenade for 20 minutes, and it's not going to end very well for him.
I don't think he's going to hold on to it for 20
I
minutes.
don't think that. I don't think. Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah. So
you know.
he's going to give it a try. So Blitzkrieg is a tile-laying game. It is a tug-of-war game. It is, fairly confrontational. It's a lot of things that I don't love in two-player games, which is weird, right? It also has this dynamic of you want to complete rows of actions, and so there's 3 spaces in a row, and whoever finishes it last gets some points and the other person doesn't. I hate, generally speaking, the mechanism of, play a stack of cards, and then the 5th one gets the points, and so no one's going to play card number 4, right? But there is enough in this design that's really smart, so you can only lay certain types of unit tiles on certain spaces. So you're trying to kind of gamble what your opponent has. There's lots of bonuses when you put tiles out, so even though you're going to put out the penultimate one and let your opponent get 2 points, you're going to bomb them by taking that spot. You're going to do things that are really advantageous. You're going to research new technologies, like get a better tile and throw it into your bag. It's really smart. It's really streamlined, and it's really good. And I've also been playing, since we officialized this list, I've also been playing Caesar, the follow-up to Seize Rome in 20 minutes. I like both of these a lot. So number 94, Blitzkrieg!
I get angry every time I play this with Chris.
I need to find someone else to play this with because I like it a lot.
Because I don't.
Oh, it's funny. My number 94 is a very light game. It always gets my heart rate up. It always really, really stresses me out. But I love it.
In all the best
ways.
ways.
Are you escaping something?
No.
No, okay. No, what is it?
Diamant or Incan Gold.
Oh, yes!
So good. I love this game. This is just a push your luck game. You are going into a temple and trying to find different treasures, but there's also a lot of bad things that can come out. And so as you're turning over, you get to decide, are you going to keep going deeper into the temple to try to get more treasures, or are you going to leave because it's getting too dangerous? And it's that push your luck there. If you stay in, you might get more. But if you bust, then you lose everything, And I found that this game, I played this game a lot over Zoom, during the lockdowns and that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
With some different groups, and it's always just fun. I love a good push your luck game just for those light kind of party-like scenarios. I'm not a big party gamer. But this kind of is that sweet spot where, again, anyone can pick it up. It's really tense, it's really fun, and you get to see different personalities come out too. The people that just push and push. Yeah, exactly. Are the ones that are like, I got 5, I'm good. I can live on 5, and just kind of see that also morph as it goes. The gamblers, as they're like, wow, I'm really not doing well, maybe pulling back. And so I just really think it's a neat, in a bit just seeing people's play style develop as it goes through, and there's some really funny moments too, I've played twice where the first two out of the first 5 cards makes us all bust. You know what I mean? And just those ridiculous situations,
Yeah.
the stories that you walk away with, I really enjoy it. So my number 94 is Ink and Gold or Diamond.
That's awesome. We just taught this to our daughter. I was finally like, I think she can play this now.
Oh, yeah.
So that's really exciting.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, my number 94 is another game that I play with our daughter. So I guess we all have kid games except Chris. Sorry.
I had Adrenaline.
Wait, what game did I
That's not a kid's
Wait, what
game.
kid game did I have? These are definitely all games I play with adults.
No, I thought you said kid game because you're a mom or something. I take it all back.
I mean, I've said those words before.
I take it all back.
But-
Okay, number 94 is Marshmallow Test. Now, if you know about the original Marshmallow Test study, what they did is they put a marshmallow in front of little young children and they said, if you don't eat this for 15 minutes, you can have a second marshmallow too. And so they would then record and watch kids sitting there and squirming and playing with their marshmallow, or some kids that just eat it because they have no ability to wait or whatever. And so it's based on that, but it's a trick-taking card game, and the idea is that you get points based on however many tricks other people have once you reach 4 tricks. So you want to win a couple tricks maybe at the beginning so that you can get up to 4 easily, but you want to feed other people tricks as well because you want to get points from them. And it's super cute. Our daughter loves it because the little squishy marshmallows. It's great. It's fun, it's easy, and it's a family favorite. So number 94 is Marshmallow Test.
My number 94 is Space Hulk Death Angel. This is a cooperative game
That's a name.
set in the Warhammer 40k universe. You're all on a ship trying to kill gene stealers, and it's based off the action cards that you play, trying to move up and down this line and turn the right direction and use your guys to blast away bad guys. You're also rolling a die to kind of like determine. This is a game that's really fun solo as well. So I played a bunch solo. I played with other people, and it's just I think it's super out of print at this point, but it's really fun to play as you're trying to figure out a way to clear out all these aliens, make it to there's different missions and things like that, but normally you're trying to make it and open up a door and make it to a level to where you're able to get all the aliens off the ship and basically get an escape pod and win. It is a lot of fun to play, and it's a game that I don't hear people talk about that much anymore, probably because it's really hard to get a hold of.
Right.
But I've had a blast playing it, and it's a lot of fun, and that's why it's my number 94. Death Angel Space Hulk thing.
Card
Nice.
something.
Card game. Destroy aliens.
I've always
Yeah.
wanted to try
Space
this one, but
Hulk.
never did.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we have it in the library or not, but it's a really good one. So
Do you want to know what Space Hulk's secret is?
what?
He's always in space.
There you go. Always in space.
All right, yay! A brown box Euro game is on my list now. My number 93. This is one that you have played.
About time.
Is it on my list?
I don't know. I don't know if you liked it that
No, I
much.
need to know right now. Is it on my list?
I'm
I need
confused.
your predictions.
Oh, I'm gonna say yeah. I think you
Okay.
enjoy this one, and you can prove me right or wrong later. My number 93 is a game called Gold West.
Siri disagrees.
Very disagrees.
Gold West is by J. Alex Cleghorn, who I think has made a couple of really, really smart designs, and a few more that I really need to try out. But this is one that impressed me a lot because it takes place in Aloma, California, which I think is fictionalized. I don't know, but it's an Old West. It's a gold panning type game, and there's small little decisions in this that are so fun. Every time you get resources off that map there in the middle, you put it into your sluice box, and then you mancala the resources off of your sluice box. So it's kind of like they're running down, and you're trying to pan the minerals out, sort of a thing. Every time that you plop one of your tents out onto the map, it reveals the tiles around it, and so you're making more spots juicy for your other opponents. So like, oh, I need those resources you revealed. Thanks. So it's very simple. You're not doing too much on a turn. Your turns can go pretty quick, but there's enough different things to go for, and I like the little friendly kind of benefits that come as you're expanding out on the map. This is a really fun game. I need to play it more, and it's brown. which means, a bland-looking Euro game that's probably gonna move it up in my estimations. Not actually.
Yeah, I enjoyed my play of this.
You enjoyed it, okay.
Yeah,
You
I
can, we'll see. We'll see when it's your number 16. Doubt
Is
it.
that your official prediction?
Absolutely not. Sarah, 93, Gold West.
Very nice. First, before my 93, we did have a super chat from Brian before, and I will just take Roy's back on this. He has been drinking tea and has been taking care of his voice. He's, like he said, just been talking a lot. So, but they were saying something about a Ricola, getting you some cough drops. So yes, we have been taking care of Roy. He's good. But thank you for the
With
super
enough
chat.
super chats, we won't just be able to afford a Ricola. We'll get one of those horns.
I don't think yodeling's gonna help my voice though.
All right, my number 93.
Gold West.
Was really sad to me. I'm so sad that this game is 93. But as I was going through my list, I just couldn't justify it. But I truly I thought this game was going to be top 20. Like it's that big of a surprise as I was going through it. But it is Robinson Crusoe: Adventures on the Cursed Island. I love this game.
You do love
I
this
do
game.
love this game,
Yeah.
right? You know this. Like I love this game so
You find
much.
random people off the street and you're like, hey, sit down. I'm going to teach this to you.
I think this was like the
Exactly, yes.
first game that I knew that you liked. Like,
Probably, I lead hey, what kind of games do you like? This is one that I mentioned, and but I just
This is the 93rd game I would pick if I was gonna teach you something.
Right.
Here it is.
I really enjoy this game. I think maybe because again we're talking about my excitement factor, and I know the one is coming, with the big miniatures and building it up and actually building your fort, and I'm excited to paint it. But anyway, I digress because I love this game and just wanted to give it lots of love, even though it's 93. 93 is still a good game. In this game, you are Robinson Crusoe, or you have crashed on an island and you are trying to complete some sort of objective. There's different objectives in it, right? Some is survival and build a wood pile to flag down some help. Others is to escape a volcano, and so you're trying to get off, gather some treasures and get off the island. So different scenarios to do different things. It is incredibly punishing. It is very, very punishing, but it is so thematic, and this is something that we've talked about before, is how I think you and I have talked about this, where I love games where I don't mind that they're heavy as long as the thematic integration and it's there, and if you think about it, it's like, oh, that rule is really frustrating, but it makes sense because as you think about the theme, and that is so well ingrained in this, and I think that it just bleeds the theme, and I love it.
It also makes you bleed.
It actually makes you bleed, literally. Have you bled from this game?
No.
It would have been higher.
The
Ignacy
volcano.
I would have
The volcanoes killed me multiple times.
Oh,
Just
really?
saying. Yeah.
I think that's the one scenario I've never lost.
Well,
That was
Ooh,
not a humble
shots
brag. That was
fired.
just a straight brag.
I think your
I
brain's
know
bigger than my brain now. I think that's what you're trying to say.
That's right. So I love it. I love the stories that come from it. The number of times it's like, oh, I was so close, and then I died because of a spider, or something like that, or like the storm
Which made you
killed me,
bleed.
or which made you bleed.
That was the alternate ending
It
to
wasn't the venom.
That was the
No,
alternate ending to Lord of the Rings. Frodo just gets bit by a Black Widow, and he's like, oh.
Right, yeah, exactly. So I loved it. Like I said, I am so disappointed this is not top 20, but it is what it is, and I think maybe with the new, the book that's coming up that'll teach you how to play it, going through, I think that maybe you'll bump it back up, but right now it's sitting at 93.
Have you played it recently?
Oh, when's the last time I played this? I played it maybe...
Because I feel like that affects some
It
of my
does,
games.
it does.
They're lower just because I haven't had time to play
And
them.
I
Played it like
recently.
8 or 7 months ago or so.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, when your friends came in town, I remember you were teaching
right.
to them.
Yes. Yeah. So it's recently, like in the last year, but not that much because it is a very big, heavy game.
got a lot going
It has a
on.
lot going on. So yeah, I love it.
Jason, I agree. Spiders are evil. For sure. All right, my number 93 was on my top 100 list 4 years ago. It was at 25, and now it is at 93, and that is Lords of Waterdeep. This was my very first
I expected
worker
that.
placement game.
Sorry, I'm talking to myself. I expected that to be higher. Carry on.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
no, this is my very first worker placement game ever, and it is loosely based on D&D. You get cubes, which are supposed to be like quest-going people, like wizards and fighters and stuff, but mostly you're just getting cubes and you're trading them in for things as they go on quests. But I really enjoy this game because there's that fun economy of working with the cubes, but also the great thing is that you're building buildings on the board and you're making new worker placement spaces. And if you own those, you get to go there, and they're usually much stronger actions than the original actions that are available. But also other people can go there, and you get a benefit every time. And so there's that push and pull of, I really like this space, that's why I built it. But also if someone else goes there, I can use my meeple for a different cool building, and I get a bonus still. I get some of what that space gives. So I really enjoy that. It's a lot of fun, and yeah, so that's my number 93, Lords of Waterdeep. Also, I do not like the expansion, and I know I'll get hate for that, hardcore, but I was not a fan. Yeah.
Sweet.
My number 93 is a survival game called Dead of Winter. So basically, you're trying to have your civilization, your encampment survive. There's hidden traitors in the game as well, like betrayers, and you're trying to figure out exactly where to complete the different missions without stuff falling through, whether you're having to find food or find gasoline or find weapons and things like that. You're trying to keep the zombies from overrunning your settlement. And this game is just crazy the way a lot of the things work, and the fact that it's really hard if you're one of the survivors to even win the game at all. I've had so many games of Dead of Winter that just fall apart because it's so hard to just, we're gonna do that. You throw a betrayer in there as well, and it's like, holy smokes. But it has this interesting push and pull of everybody has secret objectives that you have to try to pull off. I've had games of this where I've been a survivor and had objectives, and I was able to do my objectives and still win the game, but everybody else in the game wasn't able to do their objectives, so I was the sole winner of the game before.
Not a humble brag.
Yeah.
Not a humble brag, but I was able to somehow talk the other players into let's still make the game end. So, so they ended up letting me win. But I've had a lot of fun with this game. I've lost this game so many times, but it's definitely a very interesting game with that push and pull of trying to figure out how to survive the zombie apocalypse.
Right. I did my list through 170, 175. That way, just as I rearranged, that kind of stuff. And this was my 101.
Oh wow!
Really?
Just barely
my
didn't
101.
make it.
Barely didn't. Yeah.
And of course, the crossroads system is exciting as
cool.
any move you make could make something trigger. So that's kind of fun.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, a super chat wished ill upon me, and my gorgeous voice instead of Roy's. It is fun when I'm sick though. Sometimes my voice drops. I'm like, oh boy.
Really?
Yeah, I've had it before. I'm like, ooh, I can sing an octave lower than usual. All right, number 92. This is what the people have come for. A crossover.
Oh, already?
Already.
With Wendy?
A game that was at one point number 31, Lords of Waterdeep.
Oh.
We both had this within 6 of each other before, 4 years ago, and now this is within 1 of each other. I love this game. This is a great worker placement game. It's one of the best worker placement games to teach to people who have never played it before. But I don't know. I've never felt the theme too much, and now having played Dungeons and Dragons for 4.5, 5 years,
I still
don't
feel
really get to
nothing.
All right.
There's nothing.
but I like it, and there's touches there that I appreciate and everything, right? This is not, anti-theme. That's, I think, the biggest thing, right? You're getting cubes, you're sending them off on quests and stuff. My favorite thing about this game that Wendy didn't mention, because everything else she said is true, but less valid than this point here, beef.
I'm just gonna hand that plate of beef right over.
I love games that you get special powers over the course of gameplay. I like games that you start with asymmetry, but also there are certain quests in here that you complete, and now every time you get orange cubes, you get extra orange cubes. Now every time you complete this type of quest, you get extra points from it. So it has some starting asymmetry, but also those this is called some sort of quest, like those plot quests, those ongoing benefits.
Yeah, that's the word.
Are so fun, and so
They really are.
I really love it. Lords of Waterdeep, number 92.
Do you like the expansion?
I love the expansion, and you're wrong about it.
I don't like the expansion.
The expansion's
So
good.
much beef today.
Yeah.
You were.
He even has
I
voice
approve.
beef.
You're right.
Voice beef.
Voice beef. Okay.
You are wrong about the expansion. It's awesome. It has a corruption mechanism.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
She didn't like it.
All right, my number 92 is a new to me game, is Underwater Cities. This is a game that actually was just taught to me at the last Dice Tower West, actually. So not that long ago, actually. It's
Okay.
really, really recent. And I played it 3 different times, I think, when I was there. Like, one person
wow.
taught it, and then I played it again, and then I ended up teaching it. And I really enjoyed it. I think it's a mid-weight Euro, I would say. It's not, I didn't think it was super heavy. But just a lot going on. I really like the way you're kind of building up your tableau engine, you know, as it goes. And this is, again, one of those light bulb moments where in the beginning you're like, I don't understand. Like, how do I get income? Like, where does the kelp come from? And then the income, oh, I get it, you know? And so it really does take till that, like, second phase, and it just clicks, and you're like, oh, this is cool, you know? And so I really like the flow of this game as you're building up and getting stronger, and as you're trying to, again, maximize the cards in your hand, you know, and playing them on the right colors to really maximize your moves. You can get kind of caught in a min-max situation, which is a happy place for me.
Roy breaks through a wall. Someone said
Min-max! Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, my number 2 is Meadow. Someone mentioned earlier that my top 2021 list, that Genotype was really high on that. I think Meadow, I've just played it more than Genotype, so that's probably why Genotype has moved down a little bit, if there's weird debates and questions on that.
But again, it also, we talked
but
kind of ebbs and
everything
flows,
changes,
you know, it does.
and it's all
It
still
really
within
does.
10 of each other, so
Right.
it's whatever. But Meadow, I just really love how simple this game is, but there's so much cool going on here. So the way that you draft the cards is that you have these little sticks, and they'll say, like, I want the card 2 spaces over, and so you can put it on a row or a column, and you take the card that's 2 spaces over or 4 spaces over. So I think it's a really cool, just trying to figure out how to use those sticks so that you get cards that you want. But then you're building this tableau of this little ecosystem in front of you. You know, you've got grubs, and the bird eats the grubs. So you play a bird card on top of that, and then later that bird will let you put something else on top of it. I don't know. It just grows. You're just collecting points. It's pretty. It's sweet. And then there's a little bit of, like, trying to do stuff first on the side. But I don't know. I just really like how streamlined and great this game is. So that's my number 2 is Meadow.
I think my thematic soul was just dying that whole time. You're like, sticks, fence posts. And you put this on top of that. No, it eats it. No, it's okay.
Okay, I'm sorry. Fence post is more thematic than
It
sticks.
is a fence post because you're going on a journey through
Fences
a
are made
meadow.
out of sticks.
Yes, but it's fine.
That's what the number 4 fence
Well, I'm glad
post.
that it is mechanically sound enough to interest you. Yes.
I feel like we're gonna be outnumbered. I'm losing my voice, so I can't help you defend themes. So
Oh, yes. Oh, really? Okay.
the brown is gonna take over if you
Oh.
don't. Awesome. My 92 is a thematic game, but also a dexterity game based off video games like Space Invaders or Galaga. And this really got elevated for me because my girlfriend's really into Galaga, and I was really excited to play this game with her, and that is Flip Ships.
I
So
love
this
this game.
This is a
You caught us.
crazy
Oh,
game
so good.
of flipping little tokens,
Yes.
trying to take out these invaders that are slowly marching down. And as they get closer and closer, you can end up taking damage. But you also have to get rid of all the ships and then take out the mothership.
Yes.
And you also gain powers of all your different ships as the game goes along.
Yeah.
As you take more damage, your ships become more powerful.
Right.
So it's like this interesting, crazy dexterity game just leads to these exciting, epic moments as
Yes.
people are flipping these ships out, trying to make them land on cards. You have cool powers where you're like, okay, now I'm this far away, I can shoot this guy, got it, just right. Or you're like, oh, I can land on 2 people and knock them out, depending on which powers your ships have. It's just exciting, and I've never played this game where we weren't standing up cheering at the end when somebody
Absolutely.
makes a hit. I've had a blast with flip ships. It's a ton of fun. I love it, and yeah, it's exciting.
When you
Yes,
taught,
I agree.
when you taught this to me, who sank the last chip into the mothership and saved the day?
Corey.
Yeah, not me.
No, not you.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I remember
Corey
very
was
well.
great.
Corey did
I played,
awesome.
I played during the retreat, and a guy, David, got it in there, and we were just all like, it's just that
We were.
stand-up moment,
Yes.
just like flipping
It's so
out about
good.
like, oh my goodness, you made it. It's just so much fun.
This is one of those games too, where when you're playing it like in convention or something like that, you don't realize like how loud and obnoxious you are. So it's done, you're like, oh, sorry. Like, when the tables
Fine.
around you like clap for you, you're like, oh, yes.
Yeah.
You're like, yay, they're done.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Yeah, you got to own it though. You're like, go back to playing a brown Euro game, Chris.
That's right.
But yeah, 92 flip ships. It's exciting.
Good choice.
My number 9 game on this list, it comes in a teeny little box. It's a deduction game. It's introduced to us just recently. We did a Catch-a-Palooza on it, and it's called the Shipwreck Arcana. I was really impressed with this game. Kind of like a lot of the stuff that you were talking about, why you like Search for Planet X. This game has it. There's a few cards in the middle. You have a few number tokens in front of you, and you have to communicate to the rest of the table cooperatively without showing them what you have a token that says number 6. So you have to put one of your tokens out there to communicate some piece of information about what number you're holding. And the cards in the middle will change over the course of the round, and so you'll give some positive information, like my number is higher than 3, my number is within 2 spaces of something or other, of whatever token I put out there. Sometimes it's negative information, so you're putting out something, you're saying this is not what it is, and so over the course of within a round or a few rounds, people can kind of guess what token you're holding, and it's really exciting when people guess it right. And it's really, it knocks the wind out of your sails when you're like, this is the perfect clue. They'll get it with one piece of information. Everyone's like, I don't know, 4?
Or they read too much into it, and then they're like, oh, we know the answer. You're like, no, we're not ready for the answer yet. There's enough
you're like, this is just the best thing I could do this round,
Yeah.
But it's an awesome game that distills so much good deduction into a few cards and some wooden tokens. It doesn't hurt that it's also beautiful and gorgeous, and that Mike hates it because he doesn't feel very smart when he plays it, but in a bad way. So, thank you, Mike, for running the stream. Big shout out to
great.
you. So that's my number 91, Shipwreck Arcana.
Awesome. All right, my number 91 is one that I consider a kid's game because of the theme, and I'm going to probably get trashed on that from not y'all, but probably half our audience. But it is Minecraft Builders and Biomes. This is a theme that has I have zero interest in this at all. I get dizzy if I watch my son play this game for more than half a second.
But at least it doesn't talk to you about it all the time, right?
All the time for 10-minute monologues. Yeah, no, at least that doesn't happen. Every morning on the way to school, but it's
Minecraft
fine.
is fun.
Cool. It's great. Oh, yeah. But anyway, I digress. But this game, I will say, I was really surprised by the mechanisms of it. Actually, it's a solid game, and it's one that I would play with people if they did like this game. I would play like this
Theme.
IP theme, yeah. I would play it with adults as well because it's a solid game. So you have your own, I'm going to destroy all this terminology. Sorry, Roy, your voice is gone, so you can't even correct me.
They're called fence posts.
They're fence posts. Okay, so you have this grid of fence posts now. So you have your own little ecosystem biomes in front of you, and that you are trying to build up over the course of the game. And to do that, you're going through this middle tableau area and flipping over different terrains and maybe fighting some Ender dragons. Mobs.
I can't even talk.
So mobs, just mouth it for me. So you're flipping over, and then you have your own little treasure chest of items that you're building up to be able to fight those mobs in order to get end game scoring opportunities or in game special power, special one kind of off powers. But ultimately, there's 3 different, what I really think sells this game for me is there's 3 different scoring periods through the game. And so as you're building up your different tableau biome, you are looking for different symbols okay, I want to have the most of this type of terrain for this point, for when we trigger this scoring. So you're trying to kind of also think about it, when am I going to trigger that scoring and able to do this? But somebody else might, really quickly later trigger the next scoring, so I also need to be set up for the second set of scoring. And so it just has some interesting depth to it, I think. But honestly, my son also has trashed me at this game by doing nothing but just fighting the creatures the whole time. So I think that there is some different strategies with that. Here I am min-maxing, my scoring opportunities. He's just fight. I don't know where he gets it. Fight.
The apple does not fall from the
Right,
tree.
but it's so much fun, and it's, like I said, I consider it a kid's game, but I think I'm in the minority of that. That's just because of that, but I think that the game has depth, and it really, really caught me off guard how much I enjoyed the mechanisms of the game, and I will almost always play this if he wants to play it because it's a solid game.
The box says ages 10 to 99, so it's clearly not just a kid's game. You could be an octogenarian
I could be.
and love it.
But I'm not. But
The
I could
box
be.
says so.
Are you
To
sure
be
you're not
very clear,
99?
to be very clear, I am not.
Okay.
But I
Okay.
could be.
All right, well, my number 91 is a crossover with Christopher, and that is Cacao. This was 67 on my list before, so it's gone down just a little bit, but not much. So yeah, Cacao, Chris basically explained it, that it is a tile-laying game where you have these cool meeples on your little tile, and you may have 2 on one side, 1 on 2 others, and then a blank side. And you're just trying to trigger buildings, but it is that fun puzzle of, you know, do I want to spend 2 meeples to gain 2 cacao, while at the same time I could trade one of them in using 1 meeple, but then, oh, I'm not trading in as many as I want to. Can I use a different tile? It's just very interesting, and the combinations are very cool. It's a pretty simple game. It's easy to learn. There's some fun majority stuff going on with the temples and things like that, and it's by Phil Walker Harding, which is one of my favorite designers. So yeah, any other thoughts on Cacao, Chris?
It's great.
It's just great.
It's fantastic.
Great. So that's my number 91.
All right, so I'll try to do this. Last one. Okay.
Anyone who wasn't here earlier, Roy's been talking a lot, doing a lot of live streams and stuff at night. So
Interviews and things like that.
Yeah.
So my 91 is an area control game by Eric Lang, that is Rising Sun. This is a game where you're recruiting monsters, building up alliances, and taking over different areas. There's combats at the end of each round, and you're trying to win those combats to gain points. One of the things I really like about this is that you can kind of upgrade your faction. You all have different asymmetrical powers, and you're going to be able to gain different cool monsters during the game as well. A lot of the games in this trilogy have that ability, but I really enjoy that in Rising Sun as well. This is I shouldn't say that's a little bit of a spoiler, but this I feel like has dropped a lot for me overall, just because I don't think I've ever won this game, but that doesn't mean that it's gonna be that high or low for me. But I still really enjoy the gameplay. I love the combat in this game, because you're bidding different like money to try to like do different things, whether it's like capture your opponent's piece, or have more strength for the combat, or gain points by knocking your people out. There's all sorts of different ways to like utilize that combat, and you really have to get into your opponent's head. And I love that in combats and games. And Rising Sun is just a beautiful production. I think it's a fun game to play, and that's why it's my 91. But yeah, made it through.
You did it! Those
that is-
miniatures.
Found this on the web.
Okay, Siri.
Oh, it's curious for how to give it a voice.
Those miniatures are
rid of-
nasty.
Yeah, the miniatures are crazy.
Great. They're great and gross. I have been painting them for forever. Like I swear,
I
there's
thought you
more
finished
than-
it like 3 times.
No,
Like, your
I
game
thought
keeps
I had
coming
finished it
back,
like 3
and then you
times.
take it again.
I didn't realize there was more
another
boxes
horde.
in our library of more miniatures, and it just keeps happening.
No doubt that this is a game you would destroy me at with that type of
100%.
combat. Like
Hey, you could win.
The hidden.
I can win the
shield.
combat.
Yeah.
I just get betrayed and nobody allies with me, so I lose.
I'll ally with you, and I'll lose all the combat.
Until I start winning, then you wreck me.
All right. Where to go?
Okay.
That's a fun. It's interesting because this is the 90s, so it's not like all of our heavy hitter games.
Right.
So I feel like some of the
still
games that
good.
people are
It's like Drama Seeker,
expecting
so-
to hear from us will come. Will come
They'll
with
happen.
time.
Right. Yeah, and I know I've already been like, oh, crossover. Oh, that'll be a crossover. I don't know. Like, there's been a couple.
Oh
like,
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yep.
It's there for sure.
So,
Very cool. We'll be doing the next one tomorrow at noon.
Same
and then
time, same place.
Same time, same place, same bat channel.
Different clothes.
And then I don't know about that. And then the
Next time with subtitles.
Next time. And then one more on Thursday this week.
Yes.
That'll be the 3 for this week.
Yep.
All right. Well, very cool. Until next time, thanks for coming by. I'm Chris Yi.
I'm Roy Cannaday.
I'm Wendy Yi.
And I'm Camilla Cleghorn.
Have fun. Gaming.
Have fun.